Alright, here we go. In this video we're actually going to open up and show you how to start the super signal strategy for the NinjaTrader 8 platform. And we're going to, again, this being the second video in the series to kind of get you started with the ROCKBOT. We talked about how to get the strategy onto your platform, how to activate it on the 1 minute buy divergence strategy. This one is going to require you to use two strategies to get one strategy, so the super signal. So we're going to go through the same process. We're going to go to new. This, if you're opening it up for the first time, you want to open up a chart, because I like to separate each one of these. So we're going to have two strategies running at the same time. And what the super signal is it's a 1 minute divergence, a 5 minute divergence, intersecting that they both trigger at the same time. They both trigger at the same time in a set time frame, in a very small time frame where they overlap. These are, super, setups. They're really great setups, and over years of testing, I know they work so much better. I mean, it's just, we could time big moves using the daily and the weekly, which we talked about the 2 Christmases ago. That was the last time we had a weekly daily setup. And then you break that down to a 60 minute or a daily, 60 minute and daily. That's for our swing trades when you have a 60 minute divergence and a daily divergence happening at the same time. That's a big signal. And in this case, we're looking at a 1 minute and a 5 minute divergence. So we have two scripts we're going to run searching for these. I am going to bring up the one right here. So we're going to just bring up the chart we're going to be running it on. So we're going to put the ES up there and say OK. This is going to pop up. Chart's going to pop up. You're going to pull down the strategy. And you're going to look here for the ones you have on your strategy list. You might have your own, but you're going to look for the Thunderbird 1 minute buy SS. That one right there. Thunderbird 1 minute buy SS, which represents Thunderbird 1 minute buy divergence super signal. It's part 1 of the super signal. So I want to add that to the platform, and then I have my parameters that I'm going to set. Now again, well, this becomes an important part of understanding market conditions. If you have the market conditions, let me move this up a little, or move this down, I should say. If your market conditions are kind of extreme, very choppy or volatile, you might want to tighten up things. But if you have a very trendy market and you want to capture bigger moves, you're going to have different parameters set up for trailing stops, bigger profit areas, and stuff. And that's why it's important to understand that, this is going to identify the signals you want, and you're probably most likely going to get a move in the direction of that signal. But that move could be 3 ticks or it could be 13 ticks. You're going to get a move. But really, depending on how you approach that and what profit zones you want to take, takes a little bit more effort on your part to kind of analyze the markets on the fly. Or, again, we do that live on the show. So it's not bad, because that's what I'm doing on the fly when I'm trading also. I'm trading the off of the bot. I'm analyzing each setup and even adjusting it if I have to. If I feel the market is trending out, we're getting some good news, I want to, kind of raise my targets. I want to give it more room. I don't want to just get stopped out at the first move. But in a market that's maybe very bearish on my buy side, which is the buy signal, I want to keep it real tight. My 1 minute I want to keep real tight. So what I've been doing is keeping the 3 minute, 3 tick first target. And then I can put I don't mind what the second target is. I put it up there, 10, 14, 16. You could always adjust it on the fly. Again, I'm keeping everything defaulted to 2 contracts off, but it really breaks it down off how many you have in here. The stop loss. Again, this is a major thing. If the market's overshooting some of its levels, the important thing is you know how to put a stop in on the divergence So when this takes, if you put a bigger stop in here, say a 10 or a 12 tick stop, a 3-point stop, when it does activate, you can adjust that to the candle, which I'll show you tonight. Trailing stop, trailing start ticks. So when do you want to have a trailing start? After how many ticks? Now you could start it right after 3 ticks, if you wanted to, or you might want to wait a while before it gets a little further. We'll keep it at 4 right there, and then how close you want to follow it up. So after 4 ticks of profit, the trailing stop is going to start. Where does it start? So that's what it's going to track. It's going to track the price at the current price by how many ticks underneath it. In this case, it's going to be 4. It could be 5. This is tracking it up, following it up. If it pulls back and gets stopped out, it's going to have to pull back 4 ticks before it stops it out. And then we leave everything else to this. And now the important part here, account. Again, this is what I make separate accounts to run each one of these. So I put the 1 minute super signal on a 1 minute super signal account. I use the closing on each tick. Everything else is kind of okay, and go to enable here, and then apply it. Now remember, we're on super signal 1. We're going to apply that, and then say OK. Now I'm going to go over here, and this is the account. You have to pull down, and you have to line that. The chart has to be on that same one that the strategy is running on. And it should show up here, up on the upper left-hand corner. All right. This is the control panel over here. Because it's already been running today, it's taken its previous profits and it's putting it back up there. But you could adjust this. There's all kinds of settings. And then it's going to fill in. It's going to fill in the areas where it called trades and stuff. All right. So that's what it's going to go back and show you all those levels. Now again, this is a very tight scalping mode that this is in. A very tight scalping mode. So we're not taking advantage of the big runs and stuff, but we also understand the market on the downside. I don't want to really take a chance here because this thing is selling off hard. If I want to catch a divergence, I want to be in and out real fast. Because we're going to worry about that 5-minute setup. So now we have that set up. So I want to do the same thing. I want to go up here. I want to open up a new chart. I want to set it to the same thing we're trading, the ES. I want to say OK, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring it over here. I'm going to go to strategies. You're going to have a strategy that's sent to you. It's going to be installed on your machine. It's going to be called Super Signal Long. I might actually get rid of the underscores on that. Again, there's just a couple of cosmetic things that would change on this, but you're going to do Super Signal Long right there. And basically, that's the super signal, but it's also a 5-minute. It's a 5-minute that has an internal check that keeps on checking the 1 minute. So if this has a divergence set up, it only is going to activate if also the 1 minute has a divergence set up. So we're going to add that to it. And because this is super signal, I want to give this one more room to run. So I want to start it off with, I mean, you could still take a fast profit. I mean, I'm not against that, but we'll keep it at 6 ticks for now. And then my second profit's going to be up there. It's going to be 20 ticks. And then my stop loss, original stop loss, because this is a bigger range candle. It's a 5-minute candle. I want to not get shaken out of this. And these candles are big. 5-minute candles could be 20 points these days. So this is going to be very hard to do. That's why I don't like getting chopped up on these and analyze them each trade. Just don't let it go by itself. Excuse my throat. I want to start off with 10. Well, let's start off with 3 points. So we'll do 12. And again, I want to give it some room to run. So we're going to do the same thing for our trailing start ticks. I want it up about 12 ticks before we start trailing it. And how far do we want to trail it by? All right, we're going to give this one, we're just going to put 10 just to show you the different things you could do with it. Now we're going to move this to, and it says account. It could be your own account. It could be any account. You can bring up, you can set up a test account, and that's what I do. I set up a test account because it has to run on 2 different accounts. Super Signal 5-minute. Now this one, if you wanted this one to run, you would put it on your live account, your Ninja account, whatever your account is, if you want the 5-minute signals to run. But I'm just putting it on here just for identifying it. But if you're putting it on your own account and you wanted to trade that 5-minute, the 5-minute one would go on your trading account. The let's see here. Super Signal long, everything else is good. Again, it's on the Super Signal 5, and we have to make sure this is actually, it says 1 minute here. What we're going to have to do here is, I just messed something up here. You have to make sure that your time frames are matching. So let me just cancel this out. This is something I always mess up, so maybe me messing it up is going to help you. I want to go to the 5-minute time frame here. Now I need to have it on the 5-minute, and then I'm going to open up the strategy again. Go to the Super Signal. And then I'm going to, again, put whatever parameters you want.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order filled.
All right, something's triggering there. There's a bot running right now. All right, we're going to do 10. I'm just firing these in right here. 10, 10, 10. It could be anything. And I'll show you to optimize it. When you finally optimize it, use the optimizer, then you're going to put those optimized numbers in there. So now I'm going to go here to my 5-minute. Now we change the chart. It's automatically going to be on 5-minute here. Super Signal long on each tick. And then we're going to go down here to enable. And we're going to click enable, and then boom. And then click OK. And then we have to make sure this one is on Super Signal 5.
Order filled. Order canceled. Order canceled.
All right. Oh, I'm seeing that. Is this thing even on right here? Hold on a second. Back here with the 5-minute chart that we just brought up. And again, the strategy is the Super Signal long. What I just did is actually went into the script and I made the defaults what I normally change them to. So you could always leave them at those defaults right now. So everything is set up properly. And then I activated the script, and then it is actually active right now. Now you shouldn't see any back testing on this. It shouldn't see any setups. They only go run forward. So one thing that I noticed about this type of comparison, it doesn't. It only works going forward. You can't really back test that. You can back test it using a 5-minute, which is close, but then you have to add in the 1 minute, and it's really complex. But what you'll see is, if you have, say you have 21-minute setups a day, and you have only five 5-minute setups a day, you might have 1 or 2 super signals a day. And those usually come at the lows and stuff.
1 minute by divergence.
There's a divide divergence right there.
Order submitted.
So if this happened to be in
it, order submitted.
Let's take a look at what's going on there. I don't even know what's going on. I hear something.
Order filled.
Let me see what is running here. I have a couple platforms running. All right, this is it. This is the Thunderbird 1 minute time frame, which I just opened up here. Again, a different one.
Order filled. Order canceled.
See what that is. Very kind of a choppy range overnight. Anyway, that's what that is right there. Hold on. So what I usually do here is I want to know what's running on here. Sometimes you could look up here, it says super signal long, but I also go to the, again, I think these get transferred. I could bundle this and you'll get them all, you know, the same indicators that I'm using, and it'll set up properly. But I just go to my watermarks, and for some reason it defaults in black. I don't know how to default it in white and keep it there. And I just make the like that, and then I go to custom text, and I'll put in here maybe super signal. Super signal long. And then just apply it, and then everything. Then that way I know at least what's going on there. So I want to bring this over on the other screen over there. Now this is how you get these up and running. Now where you could check on that is you check in your NinjaTrader control panel manager here. These have to be green like this. It'll tell you if they're running or not, and what counter is displayed on them, and the parameters, and the time frames, which is important, and it'll keep track of this. So this is actively running right now, and that's the super signal. So what the super signal is giving you, it's giving you a 1 minute time frame that you don't have to put any other 1 minute time frames up there. You just have to use the 1 minute super signal, and you'll get all the 1 minute divergences. And this is running side by side with the 5 minute setup, and they rotate, and they do a check to see if they activate at the same time, and that's when you'll get that 5 minute, or you'll get the super signal alert, and it'll say super signal. But they're kind of rare, and they usually come, you know, on decent 5 minute divergences. And 5 minute divergences, they don't come around like 1 minute. 1 minute here looking pretty good. And again, this is probably pretty tight when it comes to the market, but I just wanted to you know, get it set up for tomorrow's market. Overnight market, I'd probably do a little bit more of just let it manage it itself. You know, I give this more running room. Anyway, the other thing is sometimes you'll find that the chart is up against this wall, and you need some more room. You go right click on that, go to properties, and then here, right side margin, and I just put an 8. It says 8. I just make it 80. I apply that, and it gives me some room, so it doesn't bother me as much like that. And then we're good on that. Alright, so that's it. Let me we're going to work on the next video. Is going to be how to set up the shorts and the bull flags, but I think I'm going to get back to the markets now.